Greetings from Dystopia. I gotta figure out where the camera is so I know where to look. I actually have the external mic now mounted on the camera, or on the phone I should say in this case. Don't know that I can get it down into the picture at all, which is good, so it is up top. Mother Nature is showing her bipolarness of spring today. It is 45 degrees and windy. Such a beautiful 2 days in a row, and then you get a day like today where it's windy and cool, and that's all right. That's spring, right? Wouldn't be spring in the Midwest if you weren't sweating your butt off one day and freezing the next. Just out doing a quick walk on that trail that the new one that I walked on the other day. I wanted to see if they got anything done. I can see that there are vehicle tracks out here that were new, so obviously somebody came out here in a vehicle. There's an orange peel. It's funny, the area where I recorded from, right where I was standing the other day, so that tree was in my background. You guys were on this skinny branch right here. It's actually standing water. Oh, I see another tree that fell down that wasn't down the other day. Yeah, this could quickly become my favorite piece of wood, although you're not going to get high miles out here, but I could see coming out here and hanging around for a few hours. Go back up off the trail somewhere, throw up a hammock, fix some lunch. Because of the wind today, I'm gonna forego actually heating up water for coffee in the woods anyways. I'll do it in the van, but don't want to risk a fire. Although it rained last night, negligible risk, but still, got to be responsible, right? Remember what I was talking about, stewardship? I have just as much responsibility for this wood as everybody else does. Sorry, message coming in there. I laughed. This phone can be quiet for hours. And the second I start to do a recording, I'm getting texts. I'm getting, like that one there was a Facebook message. Somebody talking to me about a band. Matt. Yeah, this is, I could see being out here when it's the peak of summer, in the shades under the tree, shade under the trees. Set up a hammock, just sit out here and chill, have some lunch, read a book, take a nap. I think the preserves around here are underutilized for the most part. People think, oh, I'll go out for a mountain bike ride, or I'll go get a run in. Let's see how bad that wind is. It shouldn't be bad at all. The wind's coming to the mic right now. But I have that video micro on there, so it should block most of the wind. And because it's a shotgun mic, or a directional microphone, you're going to get a lot less noise. I don't know if I can get the shadow of it on my face here. Where is it? Where is that shadow? How high do I have? There it is. It's like, how high? So now you can see the mic, and there's the phone. It's kind of like, how high do I have to get that thing to show up on my face? But yeah, they're way underutilized. I see people come out and they go to the picnic shelter, you know, and they set up lunch and grill and whatever, and then they go home. They completely miss all of the trails. You know, they miss the better parts of the preserves, which is being out in the trees. I don't know. Maybe I'm too much of a nature boy, huh? But yeah, I did not do that last year, but Yeah, maybe a handful of times where I went out and set up a hammock, or brought out my stove and made a lunch, or but yeah, when I go to the preserves, I prefer to be back up in the woods rather than out with all of the people. Maybe that's just the introverted side of me. I appreciate the stillness. Feedback. Not much from you guys. I did get 1 p.m. Made a joke about my comment about having a UTI. TMI. And then a dirty joke that goes along with it, but I'll leave it at that. Another one asked me to talk about knives at some point. I got plenty of knives, but I think that's definitely a guy thing, huh? We get into... I wouldn't say I get into it as knife porn, but I know a lot of guys do. Yeah, so to answer your question, Bill, I always carry one knife. This was my dad's knife. I have 2 of my dad's knives, and I always carry one on me. This one I actually sent in to be repaired. An old timer, or Schrade, actually replaced the blade on it, which kind of bugged me a little bit, because my dad had rounded off that blade. It was almost flat at the end and then more of a taper towards the back. And what he had done is he had modified it for cleaning out the bowl of his pipe, because he smoked a tobacco pipe. And that's why I have not sent the other one in to get fixed, because I don't want, or to just get renewed, I guess is probably the better term. I don't want them to change the blade like they did on this one. So there you go. If you're looking for a keepsake to hand down, buy a knife from a company that gives you a lifetime warranty on the knife. And you can always send it in to get refurbished. They replaced one of the sides. I forgot what you call that. I know there's a name for it, but they replaced one of the sides because it was cracked. And the other one they just polished back up and put it back together. So yeah, if you want something to hand down to your kids, spend the money on a good knife. The boys will appreciate it. I'm sure some of the girls do too. I just don't know many women that are like, oh, that knife is so cool, you know. That's kind of an unusual thing in practice. So yeah, you guys, you got to give me feedback here. You got to let me know things you want to talk about. I know Jim was asking about Proto-Rick, depending on how you want to use the word. I believe it's actually pronounced Proto in that case, but doesn't matter. It's not an English lesson. So I kind of covered some of that. Like I told you guys, I internalize a lot of things, and a lot of stuff becomes private. There's a lot of my life that I don't share with people. If you see me ranting about how something bothers me personally, then you can pretty well bet it does. Because otherwise I just won't say anything. I have a lifetime of having to keep my mouth shut. A lifetime of being told men don't feel, men can't have emotions, you know. Had that discussion not long ago with a friend, former friend, I guess you should say. Their children were raised, boys don't cry, boys don't show emotion, boys don't blah blah blah, boys don't blah blah blah. Bullshit. And I know it's our generation and previous generations. We raised our kids And our parents raised us of that mindset that you don't cry, that you don't show emotion. Well, that's wrong. So try to adjust the light here a little bit. There's nothing wrong with it. But yeah. Anyway, so if you see me hype up about something, an emotional issue or something like that, then it's something that bothers me or something that I feel strongly about. My biggest thing here lately is I just feel strongly about stupidity, because there's plenty of it. Like this morning, Carolyn posted this thing up just ranting about social distancing and the way we spend time not quarantining or not staying in place doing the things we're supposed to do. Yeah, I've already ranted about that, and there's memes out that show it, people before COVID, and they're all inside sitting on the couch and on the floor playing their phones and watching TV, and now that you're supposed to be, sheltering in place or quarantining. I hate the word quarantine because we're not actually under quarantine, but now they're all out and about, and I can vouch for that for what I'm seeing in the preserves. There are way more people out than is proportionate for this time last year. So clearly that message has not gotten across the meaning of shelter in place. Again, I won't fault people for going out to exercise, but do your exercise and go home. I'm out here tops 2 hours, 2.5 hours if I'm running. A few minutes to record for you guys, and then I'm back to the house. It's just the way it is. I'm doing my part. I don't go to the store every day. I don't go unless I absolutely need to. Typically now the only thing I'm going for is fresh vegetables or fruit, and that's it. And even then I buy enough for 4 or 5 days, and then I go. Again, I'm not going every day. If you're going every day, you're increasing your risk exponentially. All right, let me stop here. I'm going to go back to the van and we'll continue. I'm just going to pause. Okay, so now we're back in the van. I was asked, what did I name the van? Because, some people name their cars. Yes, I did. The van is called Fernweh, which means wanderlust in German. Because I not want to sit still for long, so I have to be out and moving, out and about. Again, you guys, several of you asked how I sit in the back. This is kind of it. My legs are crossed, but I can turn and stretch out towards the back door. I can turn and stretch the other way. It's quite comfortable. Although last year I slept on the passenger side. This year I think I'm going to sleep on the driver's side, because more often than not I'm getting things out of the vehicle curbside. If you think about the way you would park, like on the side of the road, the passenger side is against the curb. So you have curbside and roadside. I tend to get things out of the vehicle curbside. So I'm going to flip this year and when I am sleeping in the van, camping or whatever, I will sleep on the driver's side and keep all the gear passenger side, which is kind of how you're sitting right now. Last year I slept head towards the front of the van. Quite often I woke up with a headache, and I think that's because the natural declination of the van is towards the front. So this year I'm going to sleep the other way. The other question I had was, do I cook in the van? Do I cook in the van? Do I eat in the van? Yes, yes, and yes. The cooking is done a little bit different. If I can, I will do it outside the van. Obviously, you don't want smells in here. You don't want the risk of a fire, which is not going to happen. I'm a little too careful, but accidents do happen. I do not cook with alcohol stoves in the van, because that could be disastrous real quick if you don't catch it. Just to show you how I have it set up, This is what I did last year. My little folding table goes on top of one of the bins, makes a nice level surface. So this, although it's opposite, this is how I would be set up for a weekend. I have my 2 clap bins where I can get to them easily. At the door over here, which right now is just extra stuff, I have one of those foldable. It's a cloth and plastic box. When it's empty, you know, it accordions down so you can put it away. I usually, during the day, that is at the back of the van so I can get to it from the back door. But at night, it goes over next to the sliding door on the passenger side. That's where I keep all my ready stuff. Above me, like I talked about, are the magnets on the ceiling for mounting gear. I can't quite reach it. I showed you guys yesterday how this mounts to the back in the outlet. My tablet goes on there. The table that you're on right now also doubles up as a laptop table. It is the perfect height to work on, to watch videos, to do everything. It's at the perfect height. I'm trying to get turned where I'm trying to, if you guys remember that adductor, I'm trying to get in a position that I'm not putting a lot of stress on that. So I'm going to move one of these gear straps to that side as well, so that I don't have all of the gear in my face or in my sit-up position as I sit up out of the bed. The van, this layout, this size actually works much better than you think it does. Because like I said, everything is in reach. I put a cutting board on. See, I can't really turn the camera around while I'm recording, which kind of ticks me off. So typically these are lined up, right? And I'll have my cutting board, so this becomes my prep area. It's also closest to the door to get things out. Gas stove goes up here. Obviously, this is things that I use less often. So this clap box in particular has all my silverware and food prep stuff. So I get it all out, put the cutting board on the top, set everything out. And then it gives me a chance to prep and everything there. Typically I'm using backpackers meals or bananas, you know, summer sausage, things like that. So there's not a lot of prep work, not a lot of heat going on. All I have to do is boil water. That's only a few minutes. You've got boiled water. So if you're eating a meal like this, you know, you need your 2 cups of water, and that's it. So the heat's not on long enough. Typically, what I'll do is I have I think it's 1 liter. Sorry. What I typically use is my Snow Peak pot or my other GSI one. The GSI is the Micro Dualist. 25 ounces. So typically, and I love the patterns you get on titanium from heating them up, but I'll heat this up for water. 2 cups of this goes into my meal. The rest of it is used for coffee or tea, or a hot dessert. And I have not used this one yet. My other one, my old one, you should see is like, it's so blue it's black. But this is a little skillet. I've yet to use this one because I have a standard skillet, a standard camping skillet. So yeah, we'll set that off to the side. So yeah, the food prep back here, it's very simple. Another thing I learned too is these little seasoning mix things like you get at Walmart and other outdoor stores, worth their weight in gold. This one, seasoned salt, steak rub, smoked hickory, char grill. The smoked hickory, I wish you could smell that. This is when we need smell-o-vision. This one I believe I got at Aldi. No. Actually, I think this did come from Aldi. It does not say on the container anywhere. Oh yeah, distributed by Aldi. Right there. This one is my favorite one. This is now my second one of these. Basic salt and pepper are always good, but having additional flavoring is really nice. That smoked hickory, I love that one on either, if you're going to fry them up, it sounds weird, but frying up summer sausage or Spam. Spam singles, although it's a waste of packing material, are worth their weight in gold. Put a little of the smoked hickory or the steak rub on those and let it caramelize as you grill it up. Yeah, white trash cooking, right? Same thing with ramen. A lot of you guys saw on Facebook, I posted the pad thai, backpacker pad thai. I've been playing with that recipe on and off for a year and a half, trying to get it to exactly what I expect pad thai to taste like. And the last time, I nailed it. So yeah, white trash pad thai, backpacker. Backpacker trash, hiker trash. Hey, I'd wear a shirt that said that. But yeah, the back of the van, it's very comfortable once you get situated. I get in here, it takes me 20 minutes to get everything laid out, and for the weekend when I'm by myself, it stays that way. I just get up in the morning, don't make the bed, it's a sleeping bag. What's to make? It's a blanket, fold it back. Go out, do my fishing, come back, jump in the van. I did 3 trips last year where I was by myself. And it's funny how homey this van gets and how quick, you know. Those of you who are backpackers or campers, I don't need to tell you. Or you military experience. Once you're out in the field and you're set up, it's home. You know, it becomes home, and it's very quick and easy. Somebody asked about the gloves the other day, why I was wearing gloves, and it was a relatively warm day. Apparently, I have, and now I forgot what it's called. Now's when I need to be doing the live video. I can't remember what it's called. Something syndrome. But anyways, my fingers turn purple. Even when it's relatively warm now. I don't know where that came from. I don't know what caused it, but it is what it is. So I just keep my hands warm. And I don't have a problem with it. It's in the 60s it's been kicking in now. And it's painful when it kicks in, but I guess it's all part of getting old. Another question I got the other day was somebody noticed that I have a tremor. It's no big deal. It's not Parkinson's. It's nothing like that. It is a secondary tremor from a brain injury. No big deal. It just seems to be getting more pronounced as I get older. Is what it is. I did not have this prior to the brain injury. Otherwise, it would be classified as an essential tremor. But doesn't interfere with anything. This is my, I can't remember the joke now. Oh, I get all nervous and I go like that. Well, that's not too bad. Yeah, but this is my shooting hand. So yeah, it is what it is. We're getting older. Things become more prevalent as you get older. There's no shame in it. There's no shame in any type of an injury. Things happen, you know. It's life. Don't know. Other questions anybody got? Sometimes I feel like I enjoyed the live ones better because I got your questions right away and could answer them right away. I mentioned the Covia Spider gas stove. This one, we'll talk about that in another video. Again, it was my intent today was to talk about these things, but given the wind that's out today, I don't want to, I don't want to be unsafe while we're out. So the cobia, the spider folds up nice and small, fits in its own pouch. The advantage to an external fuel line stove like this is during the summer, warmer months, the stove would sit on top. You know, your burner stove sits on top of the can. However, in colder weather, isobutane has this wonderful feature, much like propane or butane, when it's in this position, it is a gas. You turn the can over, it ejects out as a liquid. So the external fuel line allows you to run isobutane in a liquid format, which extends your winter months, your cold months of heat, of being able to actually cook. So yeah, it's a big, big difference. So when we get some nicer, less windy weather, I can actually set all of these up and show you the different methods of cooking. It's not a skill that everybody needs to worry about. I will, however, say that given this current situation, this could have been much worse. So any additional skills you can learn to, to help yourself out, to help your family out, whatever, skills like that are good to have. Know how to make fire, know how to cook multiple ways with multiple different fuel sources. In my case, I am equipped, I put it away, but I have my firebox stoves. With the firebox stove, I can cook with wood, I can cook with alcohol, I can cook with Esbit fuel tabs or other brand name fuel tabs. The GSIs I can cook with isobutane, alcohol. It behooves you. I almost put this in the wrong box. It's supposed to be in my backpack. Always have tea, coffee, more tea. The tea I found I only drink 2 or 3 of them, but having extra for other people or to use as barter has come quite handy going up to Wisconsin on trips. Comes in handy to have multiple ways to hot stuff to drink, or like I said, for barter. Trade you 2 teas for a coffee. That has happened where I ran out of coffee. Multi-tool. Always have a multi-tool in your cook kit, particularly vehicle cook kits. Backpacking, stuff like this gets a little heavy, but this is a Gerber suspension. It's probably one of my favorite that I've had to date. The only thing I can fault it for is the weight. They do make a titanium. The grips are actually titanium and it's a little bit lighter. But this suspension is a very good one. The only thing I faulted it for was their actual case that they give you for it. I did not like the case, so I went and bought this one from Night Eyes. The main thing I had against their case was it does not have a secondary lock. So you can see the belt would be up through here, but this has a little hook on the bottom clip that if you pull up, it grabs the belt and prevents the whole thing from coming off. That is a problem I've had. Actually, not just with Gerber's kit. Quite a few of the multi-tools, I don't like the way they do their kit. Their case. But that's when you buy a product, the companies rely on you as the user for feedback. So if you never tell them, you can't complain. I think I have complained about every kit I've had. But yeah, so the back of the van is very comfortable. I know several people that sleep in their Subarus. Ken? Al sleeps in the back of a Nissan Xterra. Oh, I always carry hammocks as well, so I can always throw up a hammock. But there is... So twice last year when I was out camping and just sleeping in the van, it rained both nights, and the sound of the rain hitting the metal roof is just like, it's snooze city. I think some of the better night's sleep I've had have been in the back of this van. But yeah, that's about it. I've gone on long enough today. We've talked about random bits and bobs. Again, let me know. Speaking of hammocks, I have one right there. I just happened to look over. Yep. This is a war bonnet hammock. And I also have a tarp over there. I guess that Boy Scout part of me never went away. I'll be prepared. But yeah, ask up your questions, guys. I don't want to have to keep guessing at material. No, I can talk about whatever. Down there, my solar panels. The table, I know somebody will ask, this particular table is made by Alpine Mountain Gear, this folding aluminum table. 16 inches by 11 inches by 6.3 inches tall. It is not the one I prefer. I would rather have the Snow Peak, but this one came out at like a third of the price of the Snow Peak table. It's an upgrade down the road, right? That's always the best part, though, is you play with the gear, you see what you like, what you don't like, you replace over time. Like currently now I'm replacing a lot of my steel and aluminum cups and pots and pans with titanium. As budget allows, I upgrade. I've replaced probably a third of my hiking and cooking gear already with titanium. You're not going to get me to get rid of my cast iron. In some ways you need cast iron, like a Dutch oven. I've had aluminum Dutch ovens and they're crap. Sorry, but the heat is not consistent. They lose heat too quick when the wind blows. It's a mess. I'm not getting rid of my cast iron for that, although I do not regularly carry cast iron just because of the weight. But yeah, that's it. I'll get you guys down the road. Take care. Thanks for coming out. Be good, be well, and we'll see you guys tomorrow.